Step back in time with me to the early 1600s, to the banks of the James River in Virginia. Here, a single cash crop would come to define an entire colony. This crop was tobacco, fiery, fragrant, and desperately wanted back in England. It wasn't just a plant, it became the very lifeblood of Virginia's economy, shaping its future in ways no one could have predicted. It all started small, in the fledgling settlement of Jamestown. But soon, tobacco plantations began to spread like wildfire across the fertile Virginia soil. These weren't all the same. They ranged from modest family farms to vast sprawling estates that covered hundreds of acres. But they all had one thing in common. They required immense labor and skill to cultivate the demanding tobacco plant. So, who did this backbreaking work? In the earliest years, it was primarily European indentured servants who toiled in the fields, working off their passage to the New World. However, by the late 1600s, a dark and permanent shift occurred. Enslaved Africans became the main workforce, their forced labor becoming the very foundation upon which the colony's incredible wealth was built. These plantations were like their own self-contained worlds. At the center stood the owner's grand manor house, a symbol of their prosperity. But surrounding it were the slave quarters, barns for storage, and specialized sheds for curing the tobacco. Together, they formed a small, bustling, and deeply divided community, all revolving around a single plant. The process of growing tobacco was painstaking and lasted nearly all year. Seeds were planted in the spring, and the young plants were carefully nurtured. Once mature, the large leaves were harvested by hand and then cured, a delicate process of drying that prepared them for the long journey ahead. Finally, the dried leaves were tightly packed into massive barrels called hogsheads. These hogsheads would then travel across the treacherous Atlantic Ocean to the bustling markets of England, fueling both global commerce and the immense fortunes of Virginia's planter elite. But this wealth came at a staggering human and environmental cost. The deep reliance on enslaved labor entrenched a brutal system of racial inequality that would haunt America for generations. At the same time, the relentless planting of tobacco exhausted the soil, forcing planters to constantly push westward, deeper into the wilderness, in search of fresh land. The legacy of these plantations is complex, leaving enduring marks on Virginia's economy, society, and the very landscape itself. This is the story of Virginia's tobacco plantations, a tale of prosperity built on exploitation, and a history etched forever into the American land. Thank you for watching. If you found this story interesting, please like this video and subscribe for more dives into our shared past.